Welcome to our 50th episode today. Thank you so much for listening to this because we are on a journey of becoming her again. And in this journey, we are understanding how to become that woman. Using our past experiences, how to develop more, how to rebuild ourselves back, how to adjust the mistakes we did on this journey. So that's why we are on the first series. And last week I remember I spoke about the difference between a social expectation versus a true self. If you missed that, I encourage you to go check it out because it's going to help you to understand the potential you missed out even when you were still a child. Today I'm going to talk about preparing yourself emotionally before any commitment in life. We normally rush into making decisions when we are emotionally unstable. And on this journey, when we want to become her again, we need to emotionally be stable when making any decision or commitment to be a best person or a better version of ourselves. I want to talk about something that does not get enough airtime. When I say that, I mean this. That feeling, the one that lives quietly in your chest when you are on the edge of a big commitment. A whisper somewhere inside you, maybe going, I'm actually ready for this. That whisper, most of us feel it at the same time. And most of us get really good at ignoring it. Those mistakes, I made them. And I know how it feels when you ignore something which is very important on this journey. Here is the thing. When you are standing at the edge, everything around you is moving. Other people seem to have the timeline memorized maybe at some point. That milestone, the steps, the whole sequence. And if you pause a little bit, even just for a breath, it can feel like the world keeps going without you. So you start to move forward. You tell yourself love will iron out the uncertain in life. That being chosen will fill whatever still empty in your life. And you silence the whisper. I'm not telling you this to make you feel bad. I'm telling you because I did it myself. I know what it means because it denies you a chance of letting yourself be. And I think more people do it than would ever admit maybe out loud in life. We rush sometimes not because we are careless, but because we want something so badly, that connection, that relief of finally arriving somewhere or belonging to someone else. Those are beautiful, they are human things to want, but rushing to get them before we are emotionally ready can destroy us, can bring us to the edge of our death of our identities. Almost never build what you never hoped for. So let me take you back to a specific moment in my life where everything went bad, wrong, messy. So I know I use my story because I know how it feels like to pass through such a moment and do a decision and later you regret. Everything was moving in fast forward. Plans were being made. Dates being set, people around me excited and people unsure, celebrations around. And I was mostly there, mostly excited too. But there was this small flake inside me, harder to name it, harder to point to. Just a tiny hesitation that kept something up, kept showing up, then getting quietly dismissed. Because I wanted to belong, this amazing wanting of love in life, I wanted to stop wondering and just know. So I silenced it. I indeed silenced it. And looking back now, that flake wasn't trying to know everything. It was only trying to show me something. It wasn't that fear of love. It wasn't being difficult or overthinking it. It was something in me that knew before I was willing to admit it that I wasn't emotionally ready yet, that I hadn't finished asking some questions, that I was moving from a place of wanting to work rather than a place of truly, clearly knowing. So those two things look similar, but the truth they are different. It matters more than most of us realize until later. So what does this actually mean? Preparing yourself before a commitment. What does it really mean? What I can say is that it's not about waiting until you are perfect. Nobody is ever perfect. There is no version of you that has it figured all it out. Before you walk into anything, a commitment, a love, whatever comes your way, nobody figures it out. It's all about something which is more honest with yourself. When you're really honest and say, okay, it's about pausing long enough to know, is it a choice coming from this pure clarity or a choice coming from fear? Those are the main questions we need to ask during those moments. That's the question. That's the whole thing. Am I stepping forward because this feels right? Or stepping inside? Or am I stepping forward because I'm afraid of what happened? Of what happens if I don't? One of the things I would invite you to try is very simple. Notice how you feel when you imagine the month ahead. Not the wedding things, the wedding rings, the excitement, the milestone, the disagreement you haven't yet, the mornings when you're excited, have settled, all that stuff. What you should do is that imagine yourself in a calm feeling, maybe even a little explaining a ground way. Oh, is there a knock somewhere? A tidiness that you keep pushing past? Because that knock is information. It's not a sign you should leave. It's just something that deserves your attention before you keep moving. Ladies, becoming her again, it needs you to slow down before making any particular or any certain commitment. Most especially when you're building yourself back, when you're building yourself to the person you want to become, when you're maximizing your potential of life. Second thing worth looking at is your own patterns when fear is involved. That's the biggest thing, because a lot of us, when we are scared of being alone, we do things we do not fully notice. If you're in for this, please just raise your hand and say, you are right with this. I believe I'm right. We agree to the things we are not sure about. We silence questions that really needs answers. We move faster than we mean to because slowing down feels like risking everything. I'm not going to do that. I think I fear. I'm sorry to sound a bit, but those are the things I used to do. Before doing anything, ask yourself honestly. And I mean this kind of honest, you would be with your best friend, maybe your mentor when you're free. I'm not talking about this edited version of you normally say loudly to feel fitting, maybe to feel seen. I'm talking about you being honest. Maybe you're in your bathroom, maybe you're in a shower, you are in a room alone. Ask yourself. That's because this is not a character fraud. That's just a pattern. A pattern once you see can be worked with. And the third thing is one of the simplest and hardest at the same time. Talk to yourself the way you would talk to someone you love. Please, my darlings, stop being hard. Stop being harsh. Stop being judgmental towards yourself. I remember asking such beautiful questions during the moments when I was in those moments. I remember I was in the shower, just a lonely person there. Not this loneliness, but I was alone there. And I used to ask these questions fluently. What do I actually want at this moment? I had to think of different kinds of angles. so that I find a specific answer for myself. And when I got it, I had to realize that it flows with the second question, which, who am I scared of? So I understood, okay, if no one, I had to go this. If yes, I have to find a solution. And this took me to the third question, which, what feels right even if it is slow, came from my deep core of life. Honesty, not what people expected of me, but what actually came from the heart, from the core of the person I wanted to be. Those questions will help you. They will give you a specific answer of the person you are supposed to become, a specific angle on some things you should do before making a commitment. The answers are going to shape the rest of the story. You might as well make sure they are yours. And I want to say something clearly, because I think most of us need to hear it. Slowing down to ask this question does not make you difficult, does not make you damaged or unready for something beautiful or a commitment you're ready to start. They only make you present with a big clarification. It means you are taking the commitment seriously enough to show up for it with your own self. Not just the parts that are excited or hopeful, but also the parts that are nervous and unsure and still figuring things out. Because that's where the truest person comes out. Now I won't pretend everyone around you will understand the pause. And I will not say everyone listening to me will understand the meaning of pause. Some people will push, some will worry, some will interpret your slowness as doubt, as a sign someone is wrong. Everyone has his own opinion about that. But here is what I have come to believe or to realize. The person who is truly right for this next chapter of your life, the one who is going to walk beside you through the hard and the ordinary parts of a shared life, that person can handle your readiness process. They won't make you push past your own questions to make them feel secure. No. If someone needs you to silence yourself to stay, that tells you something important too. Be wise, ladies. Let's be wise. Let's open widely, because this is our moment. And here is the thing about timing that took me a long time to accept. There is no universal signal, no mornings where you wake up and a voice says, okay, now you are ready. It's never there. It's you to make a right decision, take a step, no matter how small it is. Because readiness is not about destination you arrive at. It's more like an orientation, a sense of where you are standing inside yourself when you make a decision or a choice. Are you standing in your own truth when you say yes? Or are you standing in someone else's expectation of who should be by now? That's the real question. So I'm not asking you to do everything, maybe today or in a dramatic ways of life. Just this, find one honest question about your readiness and actually sit with it. Reflect about it, because this is a moment of awareness. Don't rush to answer it. Don't immediately explain it away. Just feel it, understand it. Just let it be. Give it a little room to understand it better. Because the commitments that last, the ones that holds up through the hard seasons, the ones that feel like home even on a difficult days, those do not start with someone else's timelines. They start with you knowing where you stand. They start with a yes that comes from your whole self, not borrowed pieces. When I say borrowed, those funny expectations from others, not a self that is being quiet or rushed or convinced. What I mean is your whole self, steady, honest, actually ready. And slowly, gently, that's how you build love that has somewhere real. So Preparing yourself emotionally before commitment needs you to slow down, take your own path, take your own pace, and make a right decision after understanding whether the commitment you're going to do comes from the core values of your life, of who you're supposed to become, not other people's expectations. Hope this message of today of preparing yourself has been helpful on this journey. Remember, we are still on a season of becoming her again, the Becoming Woman, Season 1. Thank you for listening. If this landed for you today, pass it along to someone who might need it. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one. Love you.